Hello, 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 people. How are you today? This podcast is brought to you by Audible. If you'd like to grab yourself a free audiobook and support the podcast at the same time, you can go to audibletrial.com/Courtney Diamond to do just that. I'm still listening to The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie that I mentioned in the last podcast because, damn it, it's a 22-hour listen. It's going to take a minute, you know? But if you'd rather check anything else out, remember that you can get any other book for free by going to audibletrial.com/Courtney Diamond. I put the link in the description for your convenience. Now for this podcast, I sat down to chat with a longtime friend who works in the theater audio life, but we went off on topics like robot cars and video games. It sounds about right. And it was a great time. Funny story, I've known this guy for years, but I messaged him right before I hit record on this intro to ask him how he pronounces his last name, because I've always said it incorrectly on purpose for as long as I've known him. Apparently it's Lescault-Wood, but I've always said Lescault-Wood, or just called him LW or LW because efficiency. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this conversation I had with my friend Matt. I understand the impressiveness of speedrunning games, but I don't want to speedrun.
I enjoy watching them. I don't enjoy practicing to do them.
No, because then I'm losing out on all the enjoyment of what the game is to me.
Then I'm losing out on life at that point.
So, yeah, the craziest thing about streaming is that all of a sudden you feel this, whether it's, you know, real pressure or not, you feel this pressure to like quickly move through entertaining parts of the game. Whereas usually if I'm sitting there playing a video game, I'm so slow and methodical and checking every corner.
Yeah.
And side questing forever.
You don't know where some ammo is. You got to check every little street. You have 3,000 rounds of ammo. You are covered on ammo, but you got to find it.
I'm trying to get all my collectibles and stuff, but when you're playing with people watching, you do feel like a little bit of pressure, like move things.
Yeah, I'm not good enough at video games, and
I'm good enough. I don't know about that.
So for this podcast, you're going to have to keep me on as a host.
Okay.
You're going to have to keep me on track on this.
Are you wily?
Well, I'm gonna go places. I'm not gonna know how I got there. I'm not gonna know where I'm going once I'm there.
I'm not mad at it.
Okay,
That's
all right.
the weird thing about my podcast. I told you, we just sit down and we just start talking and we see what happens most of the time. Except for the ones where I'm taking questions with the ladies. Have you heard those? Me and Jenna. Michelle,
Yeah. I listened to that one. I had some pointers for Jenna in particular. Not laughing into the mic.
She just, the joy comes out of her.
It explodes.
And she cannot control it. She's so excited.
That's why I have the beard. It contains the joy.
Does it? That's where your joy went all these years.
It pushed it out of my face. It's like Play-Doh.
I figured it had to be going somewhere. How's work going?
When people ask me how the job is going, I explain it. It's chill, fuck, chill. It just has these spikes of, oh God, I want to die and I want to kill everyone with me, to going down to this ball of fire. And then the next day it's great. And then the next day I check like 3 emails and chill.
And it's all fine.
And chill. Can I say fuck on this show?
Yes, you can.
Okay, good. Fuck. Or you can bleep it. Bleeping is hilarious.
It's more work for me, though.
It is more work, but I think I
already edit the thing anyway, so.
Yeah, you just have to go in there, so I just got to slip in a fucking shit every now and then just to, like, keep you busy. Yeah. Or you just allow it on your show.
Except I just.
I don't know what your sponsors like or not. What content is good to talk about, bad to talk about.
You know what's really nice about podcast things, though, in general, is that it seems like people feel free to talk about whatever they want anyway. Because you're not like on a network.
Well, it's all about sponsorship. Like, fun fact, on cable television, you can say and show whatever you want. You can turn on Nickelodeon right now and stream hardcore pornography. It's fine. It's cable. Yeah. It's just the sponsorship, the people paying for the ads say like, we don't want our ad associated with penetration is what they say. And so then you kind of water it down and you get that, you know, what we consider cable television nowadays. But legally, they can do that.
Have you seen that people are doing these things where they're like basically sponsored by the people that listen to them?
like on the Patreons and the...
Yeah.
It's the new... Well,
It keeps people from having to do those kind of like ad situations.
Well, it's part of the new economy. The new economy right now is your car is a taxi cab, your house is a hotel.
I know.
I don't think they taught this in macroeconomics in high school.
No, they didn't teach any of that in my high
Hey,
school.
guys, so things are going to get a little weird. You're going to kind of have to scrape by for a generation or so. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unusual.
You're paying to Social Security now, but don't expect it.
It's very unusual, and yet, I mean, I see the benefits to it. It's like if you have the resourcefulness or if you want to be that type of creative person, it's like at least gives more people an outlet because like the middleman goes away more.
I mean, here we go. We're straying into macroeconomics and...
Are you a macroeconomic genius and I didn't know?
Oh, hell no.
Because you've said that word twice and I haven't heard it in about a decade.
That means big economics. Then there's microeconomics, which is small economics. No.
Learn us, Matt.
Asterisk disclaimer to anything that I say. Maybe it's right. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you say it with confidence enough,
that's how the world works.
Maybe enough people will vote for me. I don't know.
No, we're ruining your political career here.
No, I ruined my political career many moons ago. What was I talking about? Oh, new economy stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things that I read, and it actually ties more into like healthcare stuff. One of the big debate in America right now is healthcare, how expensive it is, and how us, not upper class Americans, we're one car accident or cancer sickness away from complete destitute right now, and that's one of the things that will drive people more towards corporate type jobs is because they're offering healthcare and they can do something. Okay, now working for this job, if I get into a car accident or whoopsie daisies, ass cancer, I'm not going to immediately die.
Right.
But what that's going to do is it's going to take people away from the possibility of doing stuff like this that you're doing right now, the little home shop, Twitch, podcast stuff, that doing what you want to do, you have to work on the other man's dime. Mm-hmm. And when you're doing that, you got to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And so that's overall as a society stifles creativity.
That's what I was running into. I could not find my creativity while going to work every single day. And it goes by really fast. Does it? It all kind of mushes together for me. That's decade. How you know it went by fast.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I told you this. I'll tell the listeners. I realized what type of job that it was when, after working there for about a year, not terribly long, but long enough to should have felt like time had passed, and realized that the last Thanksgiving that happened to me seemed... It was a year ago, but to me it seemed like it happened like 2 weeks ago, because then everything in between was, the same. So it all just kind of mushed together in my brain, and that kind of scared me. I stayed there for 9 more years, so it didn't scare me that much. But again, it was that safety and security of I know where my paycheck is coming from. They were kind of sort of giving me benefits, very minimal at the time. So it was enough of that safety net that just kind of held me there for a while.
I know. Well, think about it. That happens to a lot of people, most people. We're trying to feel safe. We're trying to feel like we can do some stuff. But then it gets to the point where if that's not like a way you want to live your life, you have to compromise that feeling of security, at least for a bit, to figure out what else needs to happen to make a change.
Mm-hmm. And if you're lucky enough to do that, more power to you.
Yeah.
I gave a very decided point to her when I said that. More power to you.
I don't know if it's lucky, dude. I don't know.
Take it.
I've just hit this moment, I suppose. It's not a moment, too. It was like a year or so that I was really processing it, or just my mentality was shifting. And it's just like, well, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want to feel like when I wake up in the morning? Do I want to work for a large company, or do I want to work more for myself and then feel a little bit more freelancey, a little bit more contract oriented, at least? So
remember the phrase "free agent" sounds much better than unemployed.
Yeah, sure.
On your comment about waking up, one thing I will note: I got really good at setting my alarm every day and timing out when I needed to get up. And since moving into new occupation, I haven't set my alarm once. I kind of get up when I'm up, and I can take my time, leisurely taking my time there, and it's nice.
I haven't set an alarm either. It's great. I like that part a lot. I'm not a morning person.
Have you had whole days where you haven't left your house?
Yeah, but I did that before.
But it's because if I sit down and I'm like trying to write something, or if I record a podcast and then I sit down and I edit it, like that takes time. You know, that takes several hours of my day. And then I do my workout at my house, and then I got to watch stuff. So it's like,
You gotta watch stuff.
yeah, I got to watch stuff. I got to keep up with my shows. No, but I mean, sometimes it's nice to stay at home. I always take the dog on a long walk, so it's not like I never get outside.
You're technically in PB, right? Like, this seems like La Jolla Jr. It's far enough off the Broseph beaten path that is Grand Garnet.
That's why this is such a nice area. You're just close enough to like the PB bars, and you're in PB, but you're on the cusp of La Jolla.
Well, I found parking. So I was planning on like, okay, I'm going to get there. I'm going to circle for 3 hours before someone moves, and it's like, oh, here's a spot.
There's
this
always
is
parking.
There's a tree.
It's lovely. I'm close to the beach, so walk down there. You know, it's funny. It's like being from San Diego. Like, I don't go to the beach very often. Like the sand beach, like lay on the beach sand.
No.
I like walk the boardwalk a lot, or I take a bike down there or something. Do that more often than actually like lay on sand on a beach, which is kind of crazy.
No,
you're from here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, born and raised. My dad tried to take me to the beach like every weekend, and I did when I was younger, but I talk to my wife about this all the time. Like, I love San Diego. It is my hometown. I never, ever want to leave because this is, all my stuff is here. All the people I know are here.
because first of all my stuff is here.
Yeah, guys, my stuff. But the actual, like, a lot of the qualities that make San Diego popular are completely lost upon me.
Yeah.
Like,
except for Comic-Con.
Well, Comic-Con. Yeah,
Comic-Con's like your one thing.
That's my thing. That's my jam. But the beach.
Yeah.
Picturing
you at a beach is very strange for me.
It's very strange for me too. I cover up. I get the big straw hat. There's pictures of me because my wife loves the beach, and every now and then I will travel with her to it. But
good.
I make sure that I'm like covered up and the sun's not touching any part of my porcelain skin.
Oh gosh, that's so funny.
I burn very bad.
How similar are you guys? Are you guys like really different? Or do you have tons in common, and I just hear about your opposite things more often?
We definitely have a lot of opposite things.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those, if you line up a lot of our qualities on paper, it's total opposites.
Yeah.
But it's in my opinion, it's the stuff that counts that we're very similar on. We have similar values. We want a lot of the same things in terms of what we're thinking about, like our futures and how we want to live, and a lot of those things coalesce very well. But it's just this: we've talked about. She's a vegan. I'm not.
Though you've learned a little bit about
I've learned a lot of vegan cooking. I can definitely give some pointers, and there's a lot of San Diego's a great place for vegan restaurants, in my opinion. If vegan cooking is done right, you don't necessarily miss the meat. Like, if you're a steak person, sorry, that's
right.
That's steak. I know they'll put a shiitake mushroom in front of you every now and then, try to call it a steak. Not quite there yet, guys, but there's a lot of like good vegan chicken stuff, a lot of Asian cuisine. You can easily not put a giant hunk of meat into it, and you're great.
Yeah.
I still love cheese too much, so that's
right there. That's why I don't know if I could do it. It's the cheese.
Vegan cheese has definitely come leaps and bounds.
Vegan,
but
the joys of life, Matt.
But if the dish is primarily cheese based, say a quesadilla or a pizza, if you're a cheesy pizza person, not quite there yet, but they're working on it. But they're working on it. The
vegans are working on it.
The vegans are working on it. Burger patties. There's a lot of great burger patties out there nowadays, which I think are equivalent to real moo cow burger patties.
Yeah. Have you heard of the concept of them creating meat in labs?
Mm-hmm. What
do you feel about that?
I'll eat it. I think that's great, both from a resource and also health capacity. If you grow it in a lab, a lot less possibility that you're going to get infected with something from outside sources.
And it never had a face and never walked the earth.
Well, there is.
Would vegans be comfortable with that,
it's from what I've gathered, and any vegans listening to this, I apologize if I represent you falsely on this. This is still speaking from a technical outsider's perspective, but as I say, I'm vegan by proxy. I don't know how well that'll fly with most folks. But anyways, to my understanding, within the vegan community, there are of two minds of that. One of them says, yes, it never was an animal, and so therefore we should be able to eat and consume it just fine without kind of I don't want to say guilt, but without compromising our morals.
Yeah.
But then the other half says, well, chances are they had to get that genetic material from an animal to begin with, and chances are they had to experiment a lot with that in order to get it to that consumable phase.
So just because of that foundational starting point, they would then say, forever we cannot eat this because it came from a bad starting point.
I mean, again, it probably depends on why they have gone vegan in the first place. Are they doing it for moral reasons? Are they doing it for health reasons? Are they doing it for they think that the earth is we're using too much resources and so we got to cut down on the amount of resources reasons? And so I think that's going to I think when that comes into play, that's going to inform a lot of people's decisions.
How weird is that going to be if like that becomes the standard meat and like real meat from animals becomes a rarity that people never see, and it becomes so normal to eat the fake meat rather than
right there what you just said. That's something that's fake meat. That's something that I've kind of brought up when I've looked at these vegan products. I feel that there's kind of a language barrier between the people who, and they've been getting better about this.
Substitute?
It's all these adjectives that they put into the titles of these things that make it sound lesser. Fake meat, substitute meat, faux meat, like things that that you slap it on the title and it says, "Ooh, this isn't as good as the quote unquote real thing." Like it's almost putting on the package, you're gonna be disappointed, guys.
Yeah.
But they've been getting much better about it. You see more stuff now called plant-based protein,
right,
which I think is more telling of what it is, and then automatically doesn't put it at a quote unquote lower pedestal right there by saying, "Ooh, it's fake." True. And our listeners at home can't see the hand gesture that I gave right there. It was very derisive.
Yeah.
Fake.
I could feel it without even looking at you.
Okay, good.
Okay. So fake's not a good word. What's a better way to describe it then?
Like plant-based protein is the phrase going around right now.
The stuff in the lab would be like real meat though, right?
Lab meat.
Oh God. See, I'd rather call it fake meat than lab meat.
That's something for PR folks.
Yeah, we're the marketing folks.
For people paid much more than I am most likely to.
Goodness gracious.
To come up with. But yeah, I'm all for that, and I excitedly await that. I'm all for things that help resources.
It seems like one of those things that people would be really uncomfortable with for a bit until it became super normal. Everybody's eating it.
On a completely tangential thing, this is where I'm going to start offshooting right here.
Go ahead.
On a similar thing, I can't wait for robot taxis to become a thing.
Yes.
Because that's,
me too.
Oh my God, it's going to be so amazing.
I'm so excited for
once I get through all the not killing pedestrians programming thing, like we're going to be set. That's going to be so great. I can't wait for that. I hate driving. And to be able to just like on my phone call a robot taxi, not have to deal with awkward Uber cab driver conversation and maybe smells. The smells might still be there, but yeah, just being able to have something pull up, deliver me to my point in time where I don't have to really pay attention. I could take a nap. I could text while not driving. It's going to be great, guys.
It's pretty much my dream. I just drove back from LA a couple days ago. And it took me 4 hours.
We know folks that live in Temecula, all the way out in Temecula, and commute all the way here to San Diego. And to me, that's insane. Like
I should have just waited.
I understand housing prices are cheaper out in Temecula. I really do. As someone who is out there looking for property to buy, I get it. San Diego's is bananas right now in its housing market prices. But to buy a house in Temecula and to then spend 3 hours of your day every day sitting in a car commuting. When
I was in college, my parents bought a house in Temecula and said they were going to do that whole San Diego commute. And they're like, it won't be a big deal. It'll be great because they got a big house out there, more house than they even technically needed. I think it was just the excitement of having the larger house, right? With like a jacuzzi and all these things. Here's the problem with living in Temecula, though, too.
You're in Temecula.
I found it really boring.
Yeah.
So
oh no, we go out to Temecula on a semi-regular basis because my wife's mother lives.
Wine? Oh, okay.
No, but my wife's mother lives out further in the Redlands area, so Temecula is like the midway point when they want to like get together and not have to like drive the extra distance.
Sure. Sure.
And so we end up in the kind of hub of Temecula right there. And yeah, they got their like big mall with all their foodstuffs and their Costco. But beyond that,
No, so bored. I spent all the time in the house. So the only reason for having the large, nice house is because you're going to spend all the time in the house.
which
For me.
going back to probably 10 minutes ago now in this conversation, saying that San Diego is lost on me for a lot of the reasons of I don't go to the beach. I'm an indoor person. I like it when it rains, and so like this nice weather that we have is usually kind of lost upon me. My current job, I work in a concrete bunker 30 feet below ground, so that's just
You're 30 feet below ground?
at points.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. I work underneath Horton Plaza.
Oh, dang. Yeah.
In the bowels of Horton Plaza, as I call it. Yeah, so from a strictly, again, you write it down on paper ways, like maybe I shouldn't live in San Diego. Maybe I should move someplace that's in the middle of Nowheresville. I had a friend in college. She went and moved out to Nebraska.
Ooh. Well, so you don't have to go like Nowheresville, but there's probably like other cities you could deal with.
Maybe.
If there's things like our weather and stuff that you don't care about.
Like, it's not like I'm going out and I'm clubbing and I'm partying out all the times.
Yeah.
Although I do work in the arts. I definitely need something where the arts are going on. That's kind of where I make my paycheck.
It's some sort of hub.
Yeah, so I do kind of need that. I can't move out to Bumfuckville, USA. Sorry, Bumfuckville, USA.
Always getting such bad PR, those people. I can't wait. See, I want even more than like the robot taxi. I want like my own self-driving car where it's my car.
Well, you're going to have to be rich for that. I don't know how much this podcast gig is paying you right now,
Dude,
but I don't think
dreaming.
It's okay.
Let me dream. Jesus.
No, I got to stamp it down. Here comes reality.
Right? Can you imagine just like from your watch or whatever, you just like call your car to you and then it takes you places, but then you just tell it to go park itself and then it just picks you right back. But it's your own space. So you don't feel like you have to share it with anybody. Now that's the perfect road trip. That's when you're in your own car, your own space. It's more like a limo than a car. That's how I imagine it. But shorter, a little shorter. But it's like a little more like loungy. I picture a moonroof. Okay, good sound system. You can have beverages in there. I have just this whole dream happening about a car driving me around places.
It sounds like you don't want a car. It sounds like you just want like a mobile home that drives you around.
Hey, not that big because it needs to be able to park itself conveniently. But
well, it's a robot mobile home,
okay.
So it can. It's
a transformer now.
Maybe. I mean, we're in Fantasyland right now. We're so far off reality bend right now. Why the fuck not? It can.
That stuff's gonna happen. It's just a matter of will it happen conveniently in our time. How old will we be when this stuff is finally like really active? Because things have to be invented, be brought into the consumer populace. And then it's for rich people first, yes. But then everything gets normalized, and then eventually everybody can have it. We have to get to that point.
Well, yeah, it's called the future.
Or get rich. So I guess
or get rich with
make your choices there.
That one idea, or that you buy that one lotto ticket that my mother's been buying for 40 years.
Hey, you never know. I'm rooting for your mom.
I'm rooting for I'm rooting for her too on that, but it's statistics. Matt's
always here to bring people down a notch. Dang it.
You know what? No, I'm not apologizing. No, fuck all you. There. I'm taking a defensive stance on this. No, the aggressive stance on this.
Okay, so we get robot taxis, but not our own cars. Got it.
No, you get... How did I turn into the bad guy in this situation?
I don't know. You did it. You did it, not me.
Also, with future technology, keep in mind that we all have little portable communication devices that has access to the collective knowledge of human history.
That's what I'm saying. And that was, what are these, like 10 years old? Like iPhones? Are iPhones 10 years old? You don't have an iPhone, do you?
I do not know.
But these things are like 10 years old. Look how far this has come.
I'm curious.
We'll see pieces.
Maybe. It's now veering into politics a little bit more with to say that the next couple of years in the American political system is going to be interesting, I think is a bit of an understatement right now.
It will be something.
It's already something. We're shit show ground central right now. We've kind of brought it upon ourselves. Great. But I'm curious how this is going to play out for the next couple of decades in technological progress, in economic progress. How badly have we fucked ourselves?
It's a little confusing right now because I think a lot of people don't know. Feels like we're in such unexplored territory. that even a lot of experts don't even seem to really know what they're talking about.
It's
Everybody's just guessing.
It's like the Trump presidency is stress testing the American system. Like, good news, bad news, guys.
Will this hold up?
Let's find out. Let's hit it with a hammer for a while and see if it'll. Whoops! It broke. Who would have thought? All right, guys, build it up. Try again.
Imagine that. Well, I mean, Elon Musk is doing good though. He seems to be the freaking leader of our technology. Him, Google, Apple.
Well. Apple, not so much.
We're the big players here. Apple's not a big player in technology?
What have they done in the past couple of years? Wireless earbuds?
My AirPods are really cool.
They got you got emoji that can make your face with you.
The Animojis.
The whatever those are called.
Face recognition stuff freaks me out a little bit.
Well, yeah, when you upload a bunch of stuff on Facebook nowadays, it says like, do you want to tag this person? We already know who it is. Just click yes.
I already tagged all your friends. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really strange.
Except when it's wrong. Like I just uploaded all of our like wedding photos and it mistook a few people.
Ruined it.
Completely and utterly. Facebook screwed the pooch.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no iPhone. You're a PC person. And you collect CDs.
I'm so going to convince you to build your own PC. If you're going to do this Twitch thing.
So with the Twitch thing, every time I'm on there, somebody's like, "Do you have a PC?" Or I get DM'd.
You got to be a PC. PCs are so awesome. This is another one. This is what we were talking about before we started recording. There are certain things that I enjoy, but I don't enjoy the fan bases of. Like Rick and Morty is one of them. I enjoy Rick and Morty. Yeah. The Rick and Morty fan base.
I have Rick and Morty on in the background.
Is crazy, and I don't want to associate with it. I like Kevin Smith movies. I don't like Kevin Smith fanboys. And PCs are one of those things I enjoy. I like building my own PCs and playing on it.
You're not a fanboy?
I suppose that I am, but I do not participate in the overall community of it. When on these one-on-one situations, yes, I do try to talk it up and talk a game on that. But in the overall community, it gets so snobbish.
So you're not going to run like your own Comic-Con PC panel?
Could I do that? I mean, if it gives me free Comic-Con tickets, like I'm cheap. I'll sell myself. That's.
Yeah, but that's the number one thing I keep hearing. Do you have a PC? And then I need to get, what is it, Steam? Mm-hmm. Because everything is cheaper.
Well, it's cheaper when they have their Steam sales. Like about 2 or 3 times a year. I don't know what the business end of these things go, how they actually make money doing this. Mm-hmm. But like 2 or 3 times a year, they just say, fuck it, 75% off everything.
That's crazy. Maybe they just make their money in bulk.
I think that's what it is. Again, I don't know the back end economics of it, but they do it. It is amazing. I spend like $50 on games a year, and I don't even play through all of them. Like I try to.
A year? That hurts my feelings because I pay like I mean $60 if it's new. I try so hard to not buy a game new, but there's certain ones I have to do it.
The last game that I purchased new, like day of it came out, was Mass Effect 3. I was on that hype train and I jumped right on that thing, and coincidentally when it was coming out, my then roommate was like going on a trip. So I had the whole house to myself for like a week and a half, and it was just like, if I wasn't at work, Mass Effecting. Yeah,
that's the game that everybody tells me I should play and haven't played. It's all decision based and story heavy, right?
I would still recommend playing it. Not to get into a spoiler alert right here, but at the very, very end, it in my opinion, and in some other folks on the internet's opinion, the what they did with the ending right there did not stay true to the spirit of what we were sold the rest of the series. With these, a decision that you made in game 1 is going to come back and either help or hurt you in game 3, type of a thing.
And isn't that the most frustrating thing? A lot of games do that.
I understand on an intellectual level that the programming behind all this stuff must be insane if you're actually going to do that. But then the emotional side of me says, this is what I wanted and you didn't give it to me.
Kind of like, did you ever play Until Dawn?
No.
Have you heard of that?
No, probably not if I'm squinting my eyes like this.
It's like playing a scary movie as several different
Oh, this
people.
is what? No.
A lot of quick time events and then like decisions, and you're supposed to like see if you can keep everybody alive until dawn is the concept. And so you make a lot of choices, but then as you play the game a couple times, you realize things that you can't change. And like you're ultimately working towards a certain goal. And that's
like we spent hours programming this one particular thing right here, guys.
Right.
You're gonna hit this one way or another.
No matter what happens, like these events will still play out. It's gonna get really cool when games get so complicated and advanced and huge story-wise
Mm-hmm.
that you legitimately can come out with like wild numbers of different endings that really are based on the way you dealt with everything. The Witcher 3 did that really well as an RPG.
I have Witcher 3. I have Witcher. See, the problem
we
is
talked about that. You
Yeah,
didn't
the
play
problem is I was gifted Witcher 3, which is great.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated it. But then I'm the type of guy where it's like, okay, I haven't played Witchers 1 and 2. So I went and picked up on a Steam sale, and I got Witcher 1 and 2 for like $3 total.
They're
I'm
a
like,
completely different kind of gameplay.
and that's
though,
what,
right?
yeah, and that's God. Witcher 1 just got bogged down in the weeds with the type of game it is, and I got like 5 hours into it, and I'm just kind of like, where are we going with this, guys? Like, I can tell for some folks that they would enjoy that type of things, but really, I don't care about my different fighting stances when fighting different types of enemies.
No,
that's
neither
not
do I.
that's not really where I want to go with my games right there, guys. Some people do. That's great for you guys.
Yeah.
But I just saw where the rest of the game was kind of going with that, and I just went, oh, geez. And I know enough people have told me that you can just skip right to Witcher 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and tell you can just skip right to Witcher 3.
Yeah. Well, when I finally finish up Fallout 4 here,
that game's good too.
Okay,
so here's the problem. Here's the problem with Fallout 4 and Witcher 3. I played Witcher 3 first, and I'm a huge Fallout fan. I love Fallout. I played 3 and
I love Fallout.
I'm just very serious about it. I can't wait to play the VR at some point in my life. I don't know if I'll ever get the chance, but I would love to. So I love Fallout to death. Now, I played Witcher 3 first before I played Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Witcher 3 was so good that when I played Fallout 4, it really put a damper on it.
Well, I'm going to make the argument that having not played Witcher 3, I think Fallout 4 put its own damper.
It's got its own damper,
but it's yeah.
But it highlighted it, especially for like a super fan like myself that probably would have looked past certain things with Fallout 4. It just really highlighted it. Just the fact that the NPCs in Witcher 3 are so unique. You can side quest there and really feel like you're talking to different characters that are asking you to do different things.
Yeah, Fallout 4 is like, oh, here, settler number
Minutemen,
426.
The Minutemen side quests in Fallout 4 are so repetitive. And I'm like, why am I creating all...
And I still do them.
So do I. And I'm like, why am I creating all these settlements with these people that cannot do anything for themselves? I have given you a home. I've given you robots to guard you.
I shouldn't have to point at the corn and tell you to eat the corn.
Yes, I've given you all of this stuff so you can get your own food. I've created water for you, and yet you still can't seem to get it together.
Whenever I show up, you guys are just milling about.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Why don't these settlements take care of this? I'm very frustrated when I play that, and you have to go save them from like 2 mutants.
My other disappointment thus far is the storyline, because coming off of New Vegas was amazing in terms of story.
Yeah.
And all of your companions, I made sure to like get all of them and do their side quests and making sure that they're all feeling good. It's like, you guys are good. Okay.
I genuinely didn't enjoy some of the companions in Fallout 4.
Yeah,
some of them I was like, I don't even want to know your story.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slog for some of them. I'm doing that right now, where it's like, okay, I finished this person's side quest. Okay, I'm dumping you. Here, go to the settlement, have fun. Bye, picking you up.
Yeah, they all live in Sanctuary. They all live in the homeland.
No, I don't put all of them in Sanctuary. I send some back to where they are, just because I feel they'd be happier there.
I dumped them all in Sanctuary, so they're all hanging out,
and I can
grab them when I need them. I give them work. You know, they have guard posts and whatnot, and they run the stores. You know, little stores you can put up there.
I have started doing stores more,
Yes.
primarily because I've started scavenging a lot more. So an advantage, swinging back around to the whole PC bit. Mm-hmm. An advantage of PCs is you can mod your games, and Fallout and Skyrims and whatnot are super moddable and can arguably make a different and sometimes better, sometimes more ridiculous experience.
So what kind of mods do you do? So I have I have PS4 Skyrim now. I bought it on PS3, I played that, and now I'm replaying it on PS4, and it has some mods available, but it's not the same amount of mods you can have on PC. I'm aware of that. But what mods do you play with?
So the whole reason why I even started modding Fallout 4 is I thought it was absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. That they did not allow you to keep dog meat as a permanent companion when you had another human companion.
Oh, yes.
They let you do that in New Vegas. Mm-hmm. And then some reason the programmers in the game just said, go fuck yourselves. You got to make a choice.
You get one only.
You get a dog or you get something else. You can't have both. And I called bullshit on that. And so I immediately went on the mod, like a mod website, and someone, of course, had come up with it, and the game works perfect. Works great. I keep dog meat with me, and I can have my other human NPCs, and we have a blast. So that's where I started on that. And so you can use mods to like fix those types of things that you feel didn't warrant in the game. A lot of folks use it to make prettier armor, or I want my hair to flow better. Here's better hair textures. Here's better.
Make your hair flow better.
You can make your hair flow better. You can have prettier armor. You can have that jacket that you really like.
That's so silly, but in games where like the hair works really well, I'm ultra impressed.
Well, because hair takes
very distracting when the hair is off in a game for me.
Yeah.
Very distracting.
Yeah, but so mods, you can use it for just aesthetic type things. The other mod that I did lets you craft legendary items, because in the game you have to like find random legendary items, and you kind of, it's like you just have to go out there and play the lottery, and like, okay, am I going to get this thing that's actually going to?
Yeah, they make you traverse the wasteland,
which is fine. Except that, no, I want to be like, you can craft.
But I'm an adult, and I just need a legendary weapon and to move on with my life.
And I want to be able to choose like what that is. And so I got a mod that lets you craft legendary, put a legendary quality onto an item. But what I like about this particular mod is you don't. It just doesn't give it to you. It just isn't like, oh, you click a button, you got it. They did put qualifications on it. You have to go out and you have to get more rare like gold and whatnot, because gold otherwise in the game you don't really do anything with.
Yeah.
But this one says no. You got to have like 15 things of gold. So you got to go out and get all those gold watches and so it does still make you go out and scavenge. It just makes you scavenge for different types of items that you normally didn't do before.
That's interesting. So it's just kind of fixing the little discrepancies that you wish like the game designers had thrown in.
You can. You can totally use it for that. Or again, pretty hair. Or both. Why not both?
The pretty hair thing, I mean, that counts for sure. And the outfits.
There is. You do got to take
how much money people spend on just getting fancy outfits. Think about Fortnite.
Microtransactions.
You can play Fortnite for free. But we don't, because we got to get stuff and we got to do the challenges, because that is the true satisfaction of the game.
The microtransactions are. It started out as he's like, oh, okay, hey, you can have one or two pretty things. You make a couple extra bucks. But then big corporate folks behind there says, hey, we can make more money on this, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So instead of releasing this full entire game right here, let's just release like this little 2/3 section of the game.
And then you got to get the DLC.
And then if you want this actually, like, that's the other thing about Mass Effect 3, going back to that was bullshit. Is there's an entire character that was originally programmed into the game and had all this lore behind it that then was locked behind a DLC paywall. Oh. And if you didn't shell out the like 10 extra bucks or whatever for them, you just didn't get that side of the game.
That sucks.
Which is kind of bullshit. And I spited them. I did not give them my extra $10. I said, nope, this is the game that you decided to put out as a product. This is what I'm going to play, and this is what I will bitch about for years to come.
Well, good for you for holding strong on that.
It's more that I'm a cheapskate.
Yeah, let me tell you another good thing about Witcher 3. Because we've discussed this before. The other good thing about that game, besides the fact that it's a huge, massive game with an amazing story where it all feels different and your ending does feel unique to how you played, the DLC content is pretty inexpensive at this point. You can catch it on sale for like $12 every now and again.
I'll wait for a Steam sale. It's going to be cheaper than that.
Okay, well,
broken record.
People. Okay, so anyway, you can get it pretty cheap. It's legit a full $60 more of content. Like, it's very legitimately worth it. I want to see more games like that. I wish more games like that were coming out. I would have loved to see like that put into a Fallout world, that kind of like detail that they had. I
mean, they do release DLCs for the Fallout games. You get the extra.
I need to play that.
You get the extra. I'm not going to buy the DLC for Fallout 4. Like,
no,
I'm 140 hours into this game. I feel I'm not even halfway through the main storyline at this point.
Oh, I was going to ask you who you picked at the end, but
no. I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite at the Institute yet. Mm-hmm. I've been dilly-dallying on that. I just got to the railroad. Mm-hmm. So I just got those guys.
Do you Nintendo at all?
I do not Nintendo at all. Although everyone's saying the Switch. Oop, I keep hitting my cord here. we can work that in post, right?
Yes. Or I'll leave it for giggles.
Oh no! Matt doesn't know what he's doing. No, so I have not switched it up. Although it's been getting some pretty rave reviews, especially with them Legends of Zeldas.
It is a beautiful game.
I want to play it primarily because I just see videos of people online playing it and saying like, okay, here's where the game designers intended you to do, but instead, fuck it, I'm going to use like 3 bombs and a parasail, and I'm there now in 5 seconds.
I've definitely done some weird stuff on there, just accidentally.
Yeah, and
full exploration.
And the game creator said, yeah, that's basically what we want you to do. We give you these options, we give you these little road paths that we suggest you go on, but hey, you can figure out another way. More power to you. That's your game.
Yeah,
and I love the philosophy behind that. Now we veer into art as it takes someone to produce that art, and it takes someone to experience that art. And part of the thing, working in theater, one of the things that you have to do at a certain point is kind of let it go and let the audience, the people who are experiencing and consuming and enjoying this, hopefully enjoying this art, they get to have their say on it as well. And even though you may have made it with a certain intention, once you release it, once you put it out into the universe gets its say as well.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate when something is designed specifically for that.
I hear what you're saying. And it just creates more of a unique experience too.
Yeah, it makes your own experience.
It gets you something to talk about, which goes back to why I like those games where you get to make all of those decisions.
Have you played any of the Telltale games?
Yes.
Have you done the Borderlands one? Tales of the Borderlands?
I've done the first episode.
I recommend finishing through the rest of it. I think it's the best. It's the best one that I've played. I know I have not played all of them. I know folks like the Walking Dead one.
I enjoy the Walking Dead one.
I probably couldn't do the Walking Dead one. I would be a blubbering mess. Probably it's like, no, I want to say
That's the frustrating part.
Yeah, exactly. So I probably...
Do you allow yourself to go back if you make a decision that you don't like the outcome of?
Nope.
You don't cheat? Okay.
Nope.
Some people cheat, dude. I gotta ask.
No. It's like, okay, I've made my bed. I got to sleep in it now. Let's find out. No, the Tales from the Borderlands one. You haven't played any of the Borderlands series.
I've played the first Borderlands, not all the way through.
Okay, but you have an idea of the flavor of
the world.
of what it is.
I love the world, the kind of vibe of it.
Well, Borderlands 1 especially didn't have much in the ways of characterization. It really was more...
a lot of weapons.
Had a lot of weapons. Borderlands 2 definitely had a lot more weapons, but they focused just a little bit more on characterizations.
They have some sassy characters, and I appreciate that.
Yes, it's all sassy characters with lots and lots of dick jokes.
That's funny.
And it's funny. So Tales of the Borderland definitely keeps that. Plus, it has Patrick Warburton in it as a voice.
Oh, that's fun.
Which is always nice. Plus, it has a fantastic soundtrack. So that is my vouching for the game. I am trying to get my wife to play it. She is not a gamer, but I'm slowly yet surely trying to ensnare her into this dark hole world.
Those
that
kinds
we
of
inhabit.
games are a great way to pull people into game
It is.
playing.
Well, because she gets motion sick. So I've tried.
Really?
Yeah. So I've tried to do like Fallout type games with her, but she can't. Like the way the camera just as I move my head around the microphone, you get this effect. It's a game where it's more of a steady cam.
It's cinematic.
Making choices.
You're playing a story, and it's kind of choose your own adventure to an extent.
It's definitely choose your own adventure.
Yeah, it's on that level. Actually, it definitely is, right? Because it came from a book concept, and that definitely still led to very particular endings.
Yeah, all of which you died in horrible ways.
There was no coming out alive.
I mean, there was like one. There's like one and good ending in those choose your own adventure books.
Right.
Every other ending led to some horrific fate.
Yeah.
Even the ones where you like lived, it was still like not a good. It's like you lived, but you're not yourself.
Yeah.
You're a hollow shell of what you once were.
I think the last episode of the Walking Dead series is about to come out. I'm very excited for it. You should play it. You'll enjoy it. That's a very good one.
I'll pick it up on a sale.
I know you will.
Oh, broken record.
Wolf Among Us?
The Fables one. I love the comic book series, and so
I know. I'm saying you're a comic dude. Why haven't you played that?
No, I played it.
Okay.
No. I played it. I played that one before the Borderlands one.
Okay. Did you like it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like the Borderlands one more.
Okay. So I have to finish Borderlands then.
Yeah.
Batman.
I'm waiting for that one to finish.
Really?
I want to be able to do it all in one go. I don't want to wait months at a time.
You will binge it.
Oh, yeah.
Hardcore. But Batman stories are always good.
Not always.
Well, the ones I've seen. Oh, I forgot. You're like a Batman aficionado or something.
No, I'm not an aficionado. It's just,
more expert than me.
He has 75 plus years at this point now
Okay, so it's not all good.
of stories. There's some slog in there. There's definitely, and it depends to your taste as well. There's different types of Batman flavors.
Yes, he is one of my favorite superheroes. I'm tempted to say my favorite. And I do like the Dark Knight iteration. That's my favorite iteration of it.
The Dark Knight one,
Go ahead, judge.
it's not so much a commentary on Batman. It's more of a Christopher Nolan type of judgment on that. It's like if things have to be complicated. It's like you have to have this intricate plot that weaves in and out, and some of the things don't really make sense. Don't worry about it. We're moving forward, guys. It's super complicated. Boom, done. They're the type of movies where I enjoy watching them when I'm in it, but then when I think about it afterwards, I'm like, wait, how did Batman have enough time to draw an entire bat symbol on the bridge when there's like 5 hours before a nuke goes off in this town? Like, priorities,
Sure.
Batman.
Sure, there's questions there.
Yeah,
as long as Batman is in a darker, like, kind of, he's like angstier and you can feel his past. Like, I like that kind of Batman.
And there's definitely a fan base for that.
Yeah.
I am a fan of the Batman 66, the kind of campier.
that one? Okay.
I grew up on reruns of that show, and if you read into your Batman history, that show actually saved Batman as kind of a franchise, because by that point in the 1960s, DC superhero comics were not were not super popular. Marvel was running away with it with their new brand of superheroes, of your Spider-Mans, your X-Men's, and Avengers and whatnot were kind of running away with comic sales, and DC sales were still kind of stuck in this kind of kiddie zone, and Batman comics were not selling too very well. Enter the Adam West, Burt Ward Batman series, and all of a sudden Batman is the thing. And it saved Batman as a franchise concept. And a lot of people nowadays kind of turn their noses up at that. It's like, oh, that's silly. Why would Batman be boiled in a giant pot of paint? Why does that? And yeah, and it's a silly concept, but it's also a product of its time. There's actually a great clip, and if this were like a YouTube show, I'd want to like pull that up. There was one of the many Batman animated shows that came out. I think it was Batman Brave and the Bold, where they actually did a little, I don't want to call it a clip, but did a little acknowledgement of there's all these different types of Batman out there. Find the one and find the type that you enjoy. They are all equally valid. It's just what it means to you. Don't try to disparage other people for what they like in their different flavors of Batman.
I would never disparage anybody for their choice of Batman.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I appreciate that.
So yeah, that's a good series, and I can't believe you haven't played it. I don't know how you don't have the
Because I'm
patience.
waiting for it to finish.
Are you doing that with Game of Thrones too? That would be painful.
I kind of wandered off. Are you talking about the Telltale Game of Thrones or the?
I was talking about the actual show.
The actual show.
We can talk about the Telltale Game of Thrones.
I have no interest in that one.
I played it. It's the only one I've just really not ever enjoyed.
That's the general vibe I've gotten off of the gaming community.
Yeah.
Right there. No, Game of Thrones. Like I read the books. I read up to book 5 there. As far as I'm concerned, that's probably going to be the last book. I think old Georgie Martin here is going to...
Yikes.
I mean, he's been saying book 6 has been done now for like 3-ish years. He's released like 1 or 2 chapters, being like, it's coming any day now, guys.
Oh, dang.
And maybe book 6 is going to be coming out, but I don't think he's going to finish the book series at this point. I think the TV show is kind of taking the reins on that. And
they're going to finish it.
The TV show is definitely going to finish, and then he's going to go to sleep on his island full of money,
just swimming in piles of money.
Mm-hmm.
So
or who knows? Like George R. R. Martin, for any faults that people may find in him, he definitely is an old school geek. One of his first published writing credits was a fan letter in like Fantastic Four comic books, like Fantastic Four number 10 or something like that. So he definitely he goes back a ways in his fandom.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll finish it, but he's been too busy with the TV show right now. And I know I don't have the HBOs, so I follow along vaguely what's going on the internets there. And yeah, they've definitely departed from a lot of the book stuff. I think for the better.
I read through book 4. So I
Ugh.
can see those changes.
Book 4. Ugh.
It was a rough book.
Rough book.
Rough
Yeah,
book.
books 1 through 3, fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved them. After book 3, he fired the editor that was put on him, and he hired his own editor, and I think it shows.
Yeah.
And I think because books 4 and 5 were supposed to be one book. And then he just kept writing about food and about people getting raped and wanting food and dying in the muck while getting raped and
And Game of Thrones, yeah.
Game of Thrones. I do enjoy the series. I know. I talked in a disparaging fashion on it, but
Yeah. But you like it deep down. Good editing is very important.
good editing is so
Very important.
desperately important.
People don't appreciate that sometimes.
And I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but I'll bring it up in this internet forum that we have right now. And I think in a television show narrative especially, I think that shows are best when you go only like 5 or 6 seasons, rough somewhere in there, at least as far as American format television goes. Now, I think that's changed a little bit because I think 5 or 6 seasons is a good cap-off point when your seasons are like 20 some odd episodes long. So by season 5, you get about 100 episode point, and I feel at a lot of points in TV shows that's you can tell that's where they start spinning their wheels.
How do we keep this going?
It's like, how do we've done 100 episodes. We've kind of learned who these characters are, and audiences have become comfortable with these characters. If we try to change these characters too much, everybody gets upset and loses their shit.
Well, it seems
if we stay with these characters for another couple seasons like this, you get the Big Bang Theory, and then you just
That's when they resort to like giant, crazy, weird plot points that upset people. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like. Or they try to end it in some dramatic way that like changes everything just to create a big stir.
But recently, with Game of Thrones type shows and your Breaking Bads and stuff like that, where seasons are now only like 10-ish episodes long, it's curious to see how that's going to affect that kind of landscape. Although, I don't know, maybe not so. Dexter
was an awful ending.
Kind of went off the rails. I did not watch through the entire series. My wife watched it. So I kind of came in here and there and kind of picked up the show through osmosis.
Yeah. Brilliant show until the end. Really.
Well, and that's one of those shows where I think like the very premise of it, like how long can you keep this going? Okay, he's a serial killer. He's got to kill people, but he does it like for good.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
he's almost going to get caught. Like every season, he's like this close to get. Oh no, just missed it. Whew. Okay, here comes the next season. Oh man, he's almost getting caught again. It's just
they created amazing villains for him too. Like, there's people, he's a serial killer, yeah, but he's killing people that you're like, definitely get out of here.
Well, and then that also brings up another point is how many mass serial killers are within one metropolitan area.
Don't live in Miami. I think is
any given time.
The moral to that story is don't live in Miami.
Well, yeah, it's just like, okay, we're like in season 8 now, so he's like he's gone through how many serial killers within like drivable distance.
Miami Metro is very busy.
Apparently,
Florida's crazy, dude. You haven't heard?
Yes, Florida is crazy, but I don't think it's that. And it's just stuff like that kind of the longer you spend with these shows and these narratives, the more time you get for things to kind of fall apart, or in How I Met Your Mother's case, just completely just crater and destroy the rest of the series with it.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I'm running into this weird thing. So it feels like with movies, I'm getting more and more disappointed when I go to the movies. I don't enjoy it as much because it feels like you're not getting a full story told, and a lot of them seem like big kind of action parties. But it's like I'm not getting enough character. I'm not getting enough build up. That's how I felt when I was watching Ready Player One, unfortunately.
Well,
that's a great book. I loved it. So
agree to disagree.
All right, fair enough. Everything in our lives, man. But that's how I feel with a lot of movies. I feel disappointed from them. I feel like TV has kind of stepped up for the most part to be like the big storytelling thing when it comes to series like Game of Thrones, when it comes to things like Dexter.
Well,
for the most part, you can flesh it out.
You can flesh it out. You can breathe with it a little bit.
Yeah.
You can have those opportunities. One of my favorite types of episodes, and you can only do this in longer form narratives like television or comic books, or not even really in book series, but in these these things with it that go on for longer forms is I like stories that then you take a chapter or you take an episode or something that then kind of veer off and you get to see what happens with these minor characters off to the side just for a hot second, just to see what the main storyline looks like from an outsider's perspective. Is like, oh, those guys are crazy over there. What's going on? And then we're back and you just get this like quick flash of what's happening over there to those guys. And that's something that you can't get from movies, and
No.
even in longer book series, you don't really get too much of. You can only get that so far in like a television or a long form comic book format.
It's true. It's true. And that's the benefit that TV has now. I mean, the last series that I really enjoyed movie-wise would be like, you know, the Harry Potters and the Lord of the Rings of kind of the world. I mean, the Star Wars are good, I suppose.
Did you hear,
I've missed the new ones.
Did you hear that they're making a Lord of the Rings TV series?
That scares me a little.
It's Amazon. They're tossing money at it, and apparently they're planning on using stuff, actors, and some creative teams from the movie. So I haven't read if it's come out, if they're going to try to tell the same narratives, or if they're going to do a thing of like, okay, this is what else is going on in Middle Earth, and we're going to kind of intersect the movies at certain points. I don't know if they've decided upon that yet.
Well, I have to watch it. It was the reason why I went to film school. Did you know that? The first Lord of the Rings movie. I nerded out so hard on the extra features that I went to film school.
The extra features were pretty nice.
I loved watching all the behind the scenes of that.
Yeah, Two Towers has a really good one on the Foley, on the sound effects.
Yeah.
And how they actually like went outside and fired off arrows and be like, okay, get this one. Phew.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do it again. Phew.
And shockingly, that was fascinating. I loved all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's. I have my own opinions about the Hobbit movies.
I didn't enjoy those in the same way.
Yeah. But the Lord of the Rings one, I think they nailed pretty well.
I completely agree. So we have my feeling about movies now, which they're still good movies, but I feel like they kind of pale in comparison to what TV has stepped up and done lately. And then what's cool with bringing people into video games, like so many more people play video games nowadays because you have games that are pretty much, they're so cinematic that you're playing the story. And even if you're not a super talented, know all of the cheat codes, fancy button presser gamer.
Button masher.
Right? Then you can still play and enjoy this whole thing and feel like you're taking a part in it. So everything has really come down to strong storytelling and making you feel like you're immersed.
And you mentioned VR earlier, and now we're taking that next step. Right now, it's our phones that we're popping in these things, but eventually, if you said you saw the Ready Player One, then they have those. I haven't seen the movie, but in the books, I remember they had their full like
haptic suits.
Immersive haptic suit gear things, and we're definitely headed towards that. To really put my nerd hat on right now, in case you listeners out there have not gotten the memo. Pretty big geek right now. I'm currently wearing a Star Trek: The Next Generation T-shirt.
Yeah, call yourself out, dude.
To this thing in a pen and paper game.
A pen and paper game.
It's like Dungeons and Dragons, but conceptually, it's conceptually if you take Lord of the Rings and The Matrix and mush them together, and you do pen on paper. There's this concept in there called BTL games, called Better Than Life games. And it's virtual reality that's so real, and since it's programmable, you can actually like make stuff that is better than life and trick your brain. And it's to the point where it's actually an addictive drug.
Who's doing this? What is this?
It is a pen and paper game called Shadowrun. It's like Dungeons and Dragons, except it's again conceptually like if the Matrix and Lord of the Rings kind of mush themselves all together.
How is it better than life?
It's a game
because it's in my imagination.
Because it's in your imagination. You program, and it's supposed to be. It's treated as an addictive drug in the game. It's not treated as a positive thing. It's treated as this like this is so much better than this. Your life out here is shit, but in here in this game,
yes,
you are better. You feel better. We can program this thing to tell your brain to release certain things into your brain, make yourself feel good.
Yes,
but again, it's treated as an addictive drug.
I think it will be.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we have to kind of prepare ourselves for.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. We're going to be in a world of trouble once we can create perfect versions of ourselves.
We're always in a world of trouble. That's history.
What a classic Matt thing to say.
Womp womp. Oh, you think the future's going to be better? Well, let me tell you, it's going to get so much better. You're going to die.
You're going to be so happy once you get your robot taxi, and it's all going to be good.
Oh man, I'm going to take that robot taxi to places I don't even need to go.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Why? Well, money. That's why. It's still going to cost you money.
Sure, but you'll have plenty in the future.
Oh, yeah. No.
I'm a fortune teller. I see these things for you, Matt.
I'm going to start my own Twitch channel where I just like shit on the game the whole time.
There's a market for everything. There's your market. You found it.
Oh my God, it is.
Awesome. It was good chatting with you, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
That's it for this one, you guys. Find me on socials at Courtney Diamond and read the blog at CourtneyDiamond.com. If you enjoy video games like I do, you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Courtney Diamond and make sure to say hi next time I'm live. And like always, subscribe and maybe leave a nice rating or comment on iTunes if you want to show your support. I would very much appreciate it. Hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.